Welcome everybody to episode 20 of Universe Mode. This is where we're going to be doing something a little bit different moving forward. We are here with Raw, and we will also be recapping SmackDown as well. In this episode, we have a sold out crowd here for this portion of the episode with Monday Night Raw. We are here in Massachusetts. Let's get the recap underway now.
The following contest is scheduled.
Alright guys, so we end up kicking off Raw with a women's division match. Tamina, we haven't seen her in quite some time, so she is definitely has a chip on her shoulder. She has something to prove. But her opponent tonight is making their in-ring Raw debut after being signed following the Evolve Showcase. Tamina will be taking on Mia Yim. Starting off this episode. So Tamina gets down to the ring quickly and awaits the debuting Mia Yim. She ended up actually winning that Evolve Showcase Fatal 4-Way Women's match, defeating Toni Storm, Io Shirai, and Rhea Ripley. And of course we found out soon afterwards where those four women ended up being signed. Mia Yim and Toni Storm got signed to Raw. We already saw Toni Storm debut a few weeks ago, and Toni was in the women's ladder match at Money in the Bank. Now Mia Yim looking to pick up a win in her Raw debut. And she's obviously not one to be messed with by any means, not backing down to anyone, especially someone like Tamina. So we'll see momentarily how that matchup plays out. Guys, so following Mia Yim's impressive Raw debut and victory over Tamina, we're going to get ready for our following contest, but we ended up getting footage from I don't even actually know where, but the same creature that same person or creature that we've seen attack the likes of Elias, appearing during a Pete Dunne Rusev main event match a few weeks ago, is seen attacking Sami Zayn in, I don't even know what kind of area this is, cinder block walls and stuff, but Sami Zayn, the next victim it seems of whoever or whatever this person or creature is. The only thing we know about whoever it is that they keep saying, "Let me in." We've seen those vignettes since before the year even started with those missing superstars. It's about the only link that we have so far. But as Sami Zayn tries to fight his way back, he soon finds out it's the same fate as everyone else so far. You can even go back to Kurt Angle also, which was minding his own business backstage one episode. He too got attacked. Now with Mandible Claw applied to Sami Zayn, the same fate has fallen upon Zayn. Alright guys, continuing on with this Raw end of the recap episode, and following another attack to another Raw superstar. We shift gears back to a singles match. The original bro, Matt Riddle, on his way down to the ring, he ends up taking on the United States champion Ricochet. Last time we saw Matt Riddle, he was in the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, fell a bit short in becoming Mr. Money in the Bank. But Matt Riddle turned some heads, got some more attention, and he gets an opportunity to take on the United States champion Ricochet. It's a non-title matchup, but a big opportunity, to say the least, for Matt Riddle. If he can knock off Ricochet, he might be tossing his hat into the US title picture. We will find out momentarily how this matchup ends up playing out for not just Matt Riddle, but for Ricochet as well. Speaking of Ricochet, after winning the US title from Drew McIntyre at Backlash, and just wins previous to the title win, Ricochet's just been slowly but surely climbing up the mountain each and every week that we see him. And of course, Ricochet, obviously the US champion, as we've already said, doing a lot of great things early on in his main roster career. Taking on Matt Riddle might be one of his toughest challenges so far. Not taking anything away from Drew McIntyre. We have actually more info on Drew a little bit later on in the Raw portion of this recap. For Ricochet versus Matt Riddle, let's see how this one plays out. Big win for Matt Riddle over Ricochet, the US champion. And also following a distraction courtesy of Roderick Strong of the Undisputed Era, Riddle picks up the win. And then we end up shifting gears to tonight's main event. It'll be Drew McIntyre who ends up taking on Braun Strowman, with the winner becoming the #1 contender and the next challenger for Kevin Owens and his Universal Championship. Drew McIntyre, of course, former US champ, and prior to the matchup, the monster among men, Braun Strowman, with a sneak attack on McIntyre. Braun obviously knows what's at stake, and of course tries to get an early advantage. Braun, a former WWE champion during his time on SmackDown, so the two brawl prior to the main event officially being underway. McIntyre gets the upper hand as both men get into the ring. Now Drew looking to get some payback on Braun for that sneak attack. These two big men just evenly matched. And Drew tosses Braun into the turnbuckle before even taking off his jacket. Rocks the big man with the right hand that actually doesn't rock him as much as it would anyone else. These two behemoths go at it. A lot obviously on the line, as we already said. Some chops and strikes from Drew do not knock down Braun. Braun gets tossed onto the apron. A big right hand from Drew McIntyre. He is fired up. Okay, everyone, so we shift gears over to SmackDown Live, another action-packed show. And following the events of that episode of Raw, Braun Strowman and Drew McIntyre went toe-to-toe, but Drew was very dominant right out of the gate to pick up that win. SmackDown takes place in Manchester, England, and it gets started off by Bobby Lashley. Of course, he was part of the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. Fell a bit short in becoming Mr. Money in the Bank. But it looks like Lashley has an agenda starting off the show. And as usual, Lashley very confident and determined. He gets a mic and immediately starts saying Samoa Joe's name. He calls out the WWE Champion and demands a title match later on in the evening. Most other people wouldn't exactly be calling out Samoa Joe of all people, but Lashley not afraid of anyone, as he was stating. And of course, as he usually does, flexes and tries to seem more imposing than sometimes that he actually is. But Lashley again was calling out the WWE Champion, demanded a title match right here tonight. We do find out soon after that Samoa Joe does accept the challenge, so that sets the main event of the evening, Lashley versus Samoa Joe for the WWE Championship. Samoa Joe obviously not one to back down from a fight. He has a point to prove still, and he will do that. We'll find out later on in the main event. But shifting over from Lashley challenging for the WWE Championship, we have Shelton Benjamin in action. He takes on Aleister Black. We saw Aleister Black debut at Extreme Rules, costing AJ Styles his rematch against the former WWE Champion The Miz in the co-main event. And then at Money in the Bank, Aleister Black went one-on-one with the phenomenal AJ Styles, and he put AJ Styles away. And now his in-ring SmackDown debut, Aleister Black taking on Shelton Benjamin. And for those who may have forgotten, Aleister Black does have a WWE title opportunity in his back pocket. He could use it at any time. Of course, he ended NXT last year as the NXT champion, and since obviously no more NXT heading into this year, he could use that title opportunity whenever he so chooses. But Aleister Black, first off, early on in his SmackDown career, looking to just make a name for himself, make an immediate impact. But the threat of Aleister Black and a future WWE title opportunity looming has to be at least some level of intimidating for even someone like Samoa Joe. But Samoa Joe's attention is on Bobby Lashley for this episode. But Shelton Benjamin attempted to go right after Aleister Black as he was making his way down to the ring. But Black meets him with a knee right to the midsection. And a pre-match brawl ends up somewhat breaking out before this match could officially get underway. And as we've said time and time again, messing with Aleister Black doesn't necessarily end well for anyone. And Shelton Benjamin experiencing that firsthand as he gets brutalized right at the bottom of the ramp, courtesy of Aleister Black. And as soon as both men end up getting back into the ring for the match to get underway, Black meets him with a knee strike and a black mass to put Benjamin away. Basically right off the bat the second the match starts. And Aleister Black picks up another huge win. And more upward momentum. He just wasted no time. Black mass could come out of nowhere at any moment. Aleister Black, an imposing force here on SmackDown, and once again, he proves just that. And now we have the New Day, who will be taking on the newly formed alliance of Mike Kanellis, Zack Ryder, and a rumored third partner. They have been calling themselves the Kingdom since we heard Kanellis and Ryder basically tell everybody here in the WWE Universe that they don't want to be overlooked any longer. They want to make a name for themselves and make a statement, and they want to do it at the expense of the former tag team champions, the New Day. And going back to Extreme Rules, Kanellis and Ryder took out Big E and Xavier Woods backstage prior to the tag team title match against the Club. And that ended up resulting in Kofi Kingston in a 2-on-1 situation that ended with the Club once again becoming SmackDown Tag Team Champions. But Big E and Xavier back in action as they take on the newly formed Kingdom. And their third member ends up being Shane Thorne, who later in that episode, when the Kingdom officially became a thing, Shane Thorne was brutalized and absolutely demolished by Intercontinental Champion Lars Sullivan. And Shane Thorne, obviously now an official member of the SmackDown roster, on top of being aligned with Kanellis and Ryder. So six-man tag team action. The New Day taking on the Kingdom continues here on SmackDown Live. after the Kingdom get a big win in their, I guess, faction debut, so to speak. They pick up the win over the New Day. We move on to the night's main event that was made official earlier on, as we said before. Bobby Lashley challenging Samoa Joe for the WWE Championship. Lashley looking to be the first obstacle in the title reign of the Destroyer Samoa Joe. Both men powerhouses, very dangerous. WWE title on the line in the main event.